Hey beautifuls, and welcome Sylvia. Welcome everyone. I don't usually bring Palo Santo into our life, so this is gonna be a deep one because I'm burning Palo Santo right away. So getting cozy and comfortable right now. I feel this is gonna be almost like a space holding ceremony that we're having on this live today, which is funny because I wasn't supposed to come live today, but now I had the time and the energy and I felt called to hold this space for all of us, especially for those of us who are highly sensitive, highly empathetic, highly intuitive, and sensitive to energies and to emotions and other people's fields and the quantum field and all of that. I felt that because of many different events and situations, this was an important theme and topic, and that I was supposed to hold this space for all of us. So again, welcome, and just get comfortable and let's just breathe together for a moment and ground. And in today's live, we're going to be talking about Kundalini energy, and we're going to be talking about psychic and intuitive gifts, multidimensional abilities, light language, and also how with great power comes great responsibility. I might share some light language during this live because I can feel some things come through. Again, I don't usually do this at all in my lives, but it's what I feel called to do today. Yeah, this has been a very important theme in my life and in a lot of people's lives lately. It feels like so many of us are speaking about this and sharing about this so much. Yesterday, I was in a beautiful place in nature, and I was sharing, we were having a conversation around our multidimensional abilities and gifts, and how we need to become very protective of our own energy as well, and very grounded, so we are able to hold all the energies that flow through us in our nervous system and in our body without literally kind of frying our nervous system. So for me, many years ago, when my Kundalini awakened, and if you don't know what a Kundalini awakening is, you have to go look for it. But in short terms and in a short manner, it's when our life force energy, some people call it Kundalini, some people call it Chi, some people call it Prana, literally the energy that alivens us, that is making us alive. It's the Kundalini energy. And when it awakens, we have this story that it goes through the chakras and unlocks and unblocks and activates each of our chakras. And many people experience their Kundalini awakenings in different ways. There's a lot that can happen, kind of good and kind of bad. When I had mine many years ago, I had this experience with rebirthing meditation, Let me know if you have heard about that before, a rebirthing meditation. And in this rebirthing meditation, we were standing up and we were moving our hands like in this motion, with no specific breath and no specific, we could have our eyes open or closed, and we were just doing this motion 3 minutes on each chakra. And then we would, our hands would be at the top, and we would take also a few minutes to allow our hands to come back down, and we would lay down. And it was a really powerful experience for me. And from that moment, I started like seeing like synchronicities and numbers and signs everywhere. And also like my energy was really activated in my hands and in my body. So I began to be able to do things that for most people would sound crazy. Just feeling a lot of energy in my hands and being able to do all of these different things that I won't go too much into in today's life. But if you know, you know, and if you don't know that, that's also okay. But having a Kundalini awakening and having our light language awakening and having our psychic abilities and gifts and multidimensional and quantum awareness waking up comes with a lot of magic, where we are able to see different things, to feel different things, to experience, to move energy and weave energy, and so much magic and synchronicities can happen. But again, also with great power comes great responsibility. At the same time, we can also become highly sensitive to energies in a good way and in a not so nice way. Also for me, a few years ago, I was so absolutely open and sensitive that sometimes I couldn't be in certain places, like in restaurants or shopping malls, or even like events like ecstatic dances or stuff like that, because I was so highly sensitive and in tune that it was overwhelming for my body and my nervous system to calibrate and recalibrate and to hold myself and my own energy, where I could feel everyone else's energy, everyone else's thoughts and emotions, and like all of that. It was too much for my system. And lately in my life, a lot of magic has been happening, and I've been able to really ground down into my body, to take care of my nervous system, and to come from a place of groundedness, while also being highly sensitive and empathetic and in tune. So this is why when people come to me for light language activations or multidimensional journeys or energy healings or stuff like that, I am more and more really focused on grounding, rooting, and the nervous system, because I've been on the other spectrum of experiences where I was ungrounded and my nervous system could not handle the intensity of light and energy moving through my body and my system. And so this is, for example, inside the activation membership community, this is something that I've been really pouring my heart and energy to share with you, somatic and embodiment practices, where instead of just meditating and getting out of the body and like connecting and all of that, that we really ground, that we really stabilize, that we really stay in the body, that we take care of our nervous system. Because when we do that, we are then actually able to hold more light and more energy. It's like a tree, and the more rooted that tree is, the more its roots are grounded and spreaded and inside the earth, the more like stabilized it is, and therefore like it's more able to then grow and expand and bear fruits and flowers. So this is why lately I've been so passionate about nervous system work and healing and grounding. And including somatics means like, did you include your body and your nervous system in the energy healing, in the activations, in the light language, in whatever it is, that we include the body and don't just transcend it, that we stay in the body and really nurture our nervous system. So yeah, I know like this life was also inspired by a sister of mine who is sharing with me a lot of things, and thank you for being here, sister. Sharing me a lot of things about the awakening of her light language and her ability to now be highly sensitive and connected to feel things and to have premonitions and awarenesses that for most people would be unthinkable. So I know that many of us go through these challenges and go through these experiences that for people who don't understand, they just won't. But for us who are awakened and have experienced these Kundalini awakenings or spiritual awakenings or whatever you want to call it, there is more and more an importance, and I see this a lot lately, of grounding and somatic work and like including the body in our meditations instead of just getting out of the body and transcending the body and like sharing light language and connecting and being highly sensitive and highly empathic. Like it's really important that we ground, that we root, that we stabilize. And when we truly do that, we then see how much, like a tree, our branches are able to grow and bear fruits and flowers. Hey sister, thank you for being here, and welcome sister also for being here. This life is a very sacred space holding space that I'm having right now for those of us who are highly sensitive emotionally and energetically, and that really need some stabilizing, some grounding, some nervous system nurturance to be able to deal with our psychic and multidimensional abilities and gifts in a way that feels safe for our nervous system. Again, I've been on the other side so much, and in the early years of my spiritual awakening, when I was studying deep transcendental meditation and tantra and non-duality and stuff like that, some people will tell me sometimes, Madeleine, you need to ground, like, and I was so connected and I was so high and I was like feeling everything, like woo, transcending, and like upper chakras fully activated and like all of that. But I wasn't really able to ground in my body and to ground in my energy and to also deal with the very human and physical aspects of this reality. So again, the first chakras. And this is why with all my clients and all my friends and all the people that come to me, I have been really emphasizing the importance of somatic work, of embodiment work, of moving the body, of taking care of our nervous system, of being connected with our breath, and really honoring our physicality, so that when we are connecting or feeling into energetics, that we can be stabilized and stable and nurtured, so our nervous system is not in fight or flight or like literally frying up from the intensity of the energy. So what else do I want to share on this life? Also share with me your experiences, and if you need some kind of space holding or clarity or support in any of these areas, also let me know, because that's why I'm here and I'm holding this space. Yeah, I can share more about my story because I was extremely sensitive to the point of transcendental disassociation and to the point of like not being able to be around other people, because I could literally feel their energy, I could feel their emotions, and sometimes I could even like listen to their thoughts or something like that, and it was way too much. And not only was it way too much, also there was a disconnection from what am I feeling, what am I thinking, what is my experience. So there was this need to also like protect my energy and to come back into my body, into my own space and into my own energy, so that I could really tune in to what is mine and what isn't, and what is present for me, and how can I actually nurture myself. And the shifts happened in my life where when I was too empathic, when I was too sensitive and energetic, I wasn't really able to hold space for others in a sustainable way. So I was, since the very beginning, it was very natural for me to hold ceremonial space with ecstatic dances, cacao ceremonies, plant medicine journeys, meditation journeys, Kundalini activations, whatever type of deep, energetic and multidimensional and quantum ceremonies. That has always been like this natural ability that I've always had, that literally does not come from this life, because I didn't learn it from anyone else. It was just very natural for me since my very first ceremony, since ever. And I noticed, and the people around me could also notice, that I was really able to see what was going on when people were having multidimensional and energetic experiences, that I could feel into what their experience was and be able to move energy, help clear some energy, help stabilize and help ground, or help people move through things. Yes, you feel it too. Yes. Thank you for sharing, sister. Thank you. And this shift happened in my life where it got to a point for me, and I know that this happened for a lot of us. So when I have clients or friends that come to me that I know are like highly sensitive, highly open, highly energetic and connected, now it's funny because I used to be the other person, but now I help them like ground and stabilize, which is hilarious, because there was a point in my journey that for me, I was too open, and because I wasn't able to ground, like life kind of disconnected me from a lot of things, because I really needed to take care of me, to figure my own energy out, not other people's energies and like the world and like all these energetics, but like feel my own. And it's funny that it happened in that way. And I know a lot of people go through this as well, where we're really open and really empathetic and really connected. There comes a point where the universe or life or whatever keeps giving us a signal, not just intellectually, but sometimes through illnesses, sometimes through pains, through trauma, through changes in our lives, where it's really calling us to bring our energy back to ourselves, to really nurture our bodies, to ground, maybe change like our diet, maybe start exercising more, like doing martial arts, or connect with our bodies more. And there was a point for me where I literally also stopped meditating, because I would meditate and like get out of the body and like go into the astral and the ethereal planes and like just travel and connect and see all these things. But then it was really challenging to be in the body, to be in the physical reality, to be human. So right now I am hilariously one of the people who help people ground, to help people stabilize, to bring it back down, to really nurture our nervous system. And especially in light language activations and energy work, this is my main focus, is to make sure that the client or my friend or the person that comes to me for an energetic activation, a Kundalini activation, or a light language activation, whatever it is, that person first is ready in their body and in their nervous system and also in their like soul, that they are ready to actually like open and expand. Because sometimes we think we are and we want it, but we are not fully ready. Because it can be too much for us and for our system. So I feel into that first, and then I see where the other person's energy is at. And the most important aspect is always to ground and stabilize and be in the body and be in the nervous system. And only when that is like checked, we can then slowly and gently and safely start opening up and expanding and unblocking and all of these things. What else do I want to share? Yeah, so for me, like what has really changed my life, is like instead of just meditating, I like meditate with the body, with the awareness of what's happening in the body. And there's also like a dropping down from the mind and into the body, where the mind is more silent, where the mind is more still and quiet. And we are able to literally drop our energy from here to here. And here, and here, and here, and here. So, doing somatic and embodiment practices for me have been and also like physical activity. For you, it can be dancing, and like some days it also changes. So some days I'm dancing, some days I'm doing yoga and stretching, some days I'm at the gym, some days I'm doing like somatic practices where I practice the feeling and the embodiment of one emotion or one character, and also shift it and play with embodying another emotion or another character. If you don't really know what I'm talking about, inside the activation membership I have many of these practices, and again, it's something that I'm really focused on delivering, because I really feel that for us to go really high, we also really need to ground. To go really high in a safe, nurtured way, an embodied way, we need to ground. So I've been pouring a lot of energy towards creating somatic experiences and embodiment practices in our new moon and full moon ceremonies with my one-on-one clients and group clients, and also inside the activation membership, to really connect with our bodies. So there's also like an importance of feeling into what is mine and what is yours. For example, as working with clients or friends or doing any type of healing or energy, even with our family or people we know, we can be so highly in tune and connected and sensitive that we sometimes take on other people's energies in different ways. Like we can take on their emotions, their thoughts, their feelings, we can start processing emotions and things that they are not processing. Like a lot can happen. And it's important that we also kind of like stay in our own energetic lane, that we stay in our own energy fields, and like I'm able to help you and hold you without having to transmute the energy through my own system, if that makes sense. And also let me know if this is you, because I didn't, like, this just came through. I have friends and I'm also like that, but now I'm kind of changing it, and it just happened naturally. Like I am one of those people, and I have many friends who are also like this, where if I am with someone who is going through something, we literally start processing it in our energies. Like because we are more open, like in a more clear vessel. If you're going through something, I start burping, or you have a pain in your back and I then get your pain in my back, and you have a pain in your foot and I get a pain in my foot, and then it transmutes through me, like embodying it. So it's like we transmute other people's energies and we heal them or help them or whatever through getting the energy in our body and then processing it through our body. This is when you see some people doing energy work and like burping, or they have a pain and they know that that pain is not theirs, it's their clients, for example. Yeah, I'm always working. Yeah, exactly. So there are many of us, I know many of people like us who do that in that way. Like literally most of my friends work that way, especially women. But there are also ways for us to do this in a way where it doesn't necessarily need to come inside our fields and our bodies. And this is not always something we get to decide or differentiate. Sometimes it just happens. That is why it's so important to know your own energy. Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes we are with like a client or whatever, and we literally get a pain in a body part, and we know it's not ours. We know it's the client's pain. And again, it's beautiful and powerful that we get to transmute other people's energies through our own bodies and vessels, but that can also be very overwhelming and like too much for our nervous system and for our bodies. And we can also transmute the energy in other people's field. Like I can transmute like the pain in your back without me getting the pain in my back. Because what happens sometimes is that we can clear the pain right away and it transmutes, and we burp it out, or like we just light language it out, or we just, there are many ways that this happens. And again, it can be very shamanic, very energetic, like it can happen in different ways. But sometimes, and let me know if this has happened to you, it also happens where that energy from the other person kind of stays with you. Let me know if this has happened to you, where you have a client or a friend that has certain thoughts or certain beliefs or certain traumas or pains in their body, like, or emotions, and you're there to help them, but then you get it, and it's like it comes to you, that energy comes to you, and now you need to deal with it for sometimes hours or days or literally weeks or months or honestly years. This can also happen, and it's not fun. It's not fun when we are pure, clear, open channels and we want to help people, but then that thing, and I'm not even talking about like entities or like heavier stuff like that. I'm just talking about like not so intense stuff, because that's even worse, where like entities can from someone else can attach to us because we are so open that they just come, and then we like are the ones dealing with them. And there's like I was gonna say better, but that's not like, it's not better. I just mean like there is a more nurturing and maybe protected way for us to help others without having to take on other people's energies or traumas. So instead of like me being with a client and feeling a pain on my back from my client's back, I just intuitively see or feel that they have a pain on their back, and we just transmute that without receiving the energy. Yes, in the beginning it was difficult to know that it was not mine, but now I learned to be responsible for my energy, so I know that is more work to do after the work with the client or person. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So sometimes, like, and this is so clear, like for people who are highly sensitive, and again, it's not always easy, and sometimes it's much more challenging than others. Sometimes it happens because there's also something for us to learn from it, and that's why things attach to us or we start processing other people's energies, is because there's also like a lesson and a healing for us there. But also sometimes it's important that like before and after a session with the client that we like clear our energy, and that we really feel like if there's is there anything here that is not mine, that was from that client or that friend or whoever that now is in my field that I don't want. If so, we need to cleanse that. We need to clear our space and our energy. And trust me, I learned this the very hard way. Many times. Especially like a few years back, like I had a very pure heart and a very open field. And it's like these things from other people would just kind of see me and be like, oh, she's so open, let's go there. And then I would have to like, it would be so hard for me to like cleanse myself of those weird energies, you know, as I was sharing before. Like sometimes even entering a shopping mall or a restaurant, I would instantly feel these things come to me. And it was really hard, like to protect myself and to have this literally energetic protection and boundary in my field. So it's very important that we know what is ours and what isn't, and that we are very aware when we are with other people and with clients or friends or strangers or whoever, that we really know what is ours and what is not, and that if anything feels uncomfortable, that we clear it and stabilize our own field and nurture ourselves. So yeah, and the other thing is also that, and again, I like no judgment and no comparison, because there are people who transmute energy in different ways, and I know because I am one of those people, and most of my friends are those people where you clear someone else by getting that thing in your body and clearing it in your own system. But I've also learned, kind of honestly, just by how did I learn? I didn't learn intellectually or from someone else teaching me, but by experience. Thank you for sharing. This is very important to be said. Thank you, sister. Thank you. There's also another way that we can start using, and again, I learned this not by someone teaching me, but it kind of started happening naturally the more I was grounded and in my own energy. I realized that I was able to like hold space and like heal or transmute without receiving the thing, if this makes sense. Like I could help someone heal a pain in their back without my back hurting, or I could help transmute or clear some entities or weird energies or whatever without me having to receive them in my body and in my system. That I could just send energy without necessarily receiving the energy that needed to be transmuted through me. So there's also that option that we get to learn how to emanate and radiate and like transmit without having to transmute inside our own fields. I feel like for me, like I'm really passionate to talk about this, especially for highly empathetic, empathic and sensitive people, because seriously, I've been on the other side of it, and it got really scary and really intense and overwhelming for me when I didn't know better. And then I realized that things get to be easier, and that we don't need to take others people's energies to be able to help them. That if we are good and the energy from someone else just comes through, it hurts, but then it also comes out, great. But if it stays with us, then we're not actually helping them that much, because now you don't have the pain, but I do. Now you don't have the entity, but I do. And how is that helping anyone? And like helping someone else, but then you having to spend days or weeks or months like transmuting that energy and moving that energy is not helping someone else. So again, especially for people who are very empathic and sensitive and like have very pure hearts and pure intentions that really want to help others, sometimes without us noticing it, we take on these things from someone else. Like we have compassion and energetically we take it in, but we don't have to. We can just help without having to carry that burden or that energy within ourselves. Because again, that is not helping anyone. The more you are stable and nurtured within your energy field and within your nervous system capacity, the more you're then able to be of service to others. But if you're having a client or a friend and you take on their energies, their entities, their traumas, their thoughts, their beliefs, their emotions, and you get all like clogged up with stuff that is not yours, then for a while you won't be able to help anyone else because you're transmuting that within yourself. But if your channel keeps protected and clean and open, then you're able to help without having to transmute or receive the repercussions in your own system and in your own body. So yeah, this is kind of the topic and the energy that I wanted to share with all of us today. Again, I started this live sharing about with great power comes great responsibility. And sometimes it takes us years to learn and to master these things. And also like it's not even something that we master and then it's done. It's like literally an ongoing journey throughout our whole lives. And it's important, I feel, that we are very patient and compassionate and loving with ourselves and with others as well. That we are all doing our best with what we know and that we are always learning. So yeah, the importance of staying compassionate throughout all of it. Let me see if there was anything else I wanted to share today. Also, if you have any questions or anything else that you want me to touch on, please let me know and I will touch on that. Yeah, like this is something that's on repeat. I've been sharing with the people that come to me for light language activations. I keep repeating this because I was on the other side where I was channeling like 20 or 30 different types of light languages. And it was a little bit ungrounded and overwhelming for my nervous system. And so with everyone that comes to me for a light language activation, I'm like, let's do it. But we do it slowly. We ground very deeply. We are very present in our bodies and stable. And then we can play with the light language. But light language is supposed to be used as light language is like an energetic weaving of energy. So light language can be like drawing, can be movements, and can be spoken or sang or whatever. And like there's a different, like when we are moving, we are literally moving energy. When we are drawing it, we are creating and literally giving birth to different geometries and energetics and dimensions and realities and timelines, and we are literally drawing life. When we are speaking light language, it's a transmission of energies, of codes that's even if our mind doesn't understand because it's not English or it's not a language that humans know, that we usually use, there are other parts of our brain and our body that get it. And so it's like we are it's like music that when you listen to different tones or songs or instruments, that it does something with your body and with your brain. Light language, when it's spoken, it's also an activation and a transmission of different energetics. So we use these things, we use light language, whether it's drawing or movement or singing, in a way that is supposed to help us not fry our nervous systems. So that's why we take it slow, at least for me. This is how I've been teaching it and doing it, because that was not my experience when I started. I literally like opened up to like 20-30 different languages, and I was speaking all these languages and moving and dancing and writing and like all these things, and it was too much. And I had to slow down and ground and like take it slow. There's time for it all, and it's all coming together at the right time and in a more stabilized way. So I keep sharing this with people who come to me for light language activations, that light language is supposed to help you and help others, not be something that you use in excess or ungroundedly, in a way that is ungrounded, that then becomes literally like how, let me see like an analogy or like a metaphor for this, like it's like literally like a glass of water that has too much water, and then the water spills, but not even water, like it's like electricity in a cable, and there's too much power and electricity for that cable, and it kind of explodes or fries up. So we need to be very gentle with our nervous system and with our bodies, so that when we use light language or when we go into ceremonies or energetic activations, that we do it in a way that is actually beneficial and not like too much, too overwhelming or too intense. So yeah, thank you for being here, and this is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you, Sister Sylvia, for your inspiration and your sharing, and thank you all the other sisters and brothers who hopped on to connect with us through this call. And let me know either by commenting on this video or sending me a message if this is something that you would like me to make more videos on. Thank you, sister. Thank you. Bless you. I feel like I've been on this mission lately to talk about things that most people don't talk about. Especially in the energetic, spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it, community. I feel there are these things that I'm being called to, like that are like under the rug, or like that are not too much talked about, that I feel called to like share about it, because it keeps coming up for my friends, for me, for my clients. And I feel like being the one who brings these things to light, who brings these topics into conversation, so that we can take a look at them, like have a conversation about them, and like transmute them or see them through a different perspective, or be able to like mold it and play with it in a way that is more sustainable or more integrated or grounded or healthier or whatever. Thank you, Sylvia. So let me know like in the comments of this video when I post it, or right here right now, or send me a private message, like if you want me to share more about these kinds of things, if there are other topics in regards to spiritual awakenings and Kundalini energies and light language activations and grounding and all of that, transcendental spirituality and like embodied grounded spirituality and all of that, all of these nuances. If you feel curious or called to ask me to share more about any specific topic, also let me know, because I'm really passionate to bring these things into the light and into conversation, because that's how they transmute, that's how they alchemize, that's how they are brought into our awareness, is by us speaking about it, not just by ourselves but collectively. And also when we I do this a lot, like it's like there, imagine like we are in a circle of people, and I like bringing certain topics to the center of the table so we can all discuss. Because when we all connect and communicate about one specific topic, different people will share different perspectives that sometimes we wouldn't think of. And they like sometimes become pieces of a puzzle that when we listen to each other's perspective and we see and join the puzzle together, that more things start making sense. And instead of like us judging other people's perspectives for being different, that we harmonize all the different perspectives and experiences in a loving and nurturing way, for me, for you, for us, for all of us at the same time. So yeah, I didn't think I was gonna go live today, and then this just came up and it was so present. Also today, you guys, I was in nature and I went to this beautiful place here in Portugal that is so beautiful. And I didn't have a backpack and I didn't have my phone and there was no Wi-Fi, and I felt so free, like so good, like not like carrying anything on my shoulders, like no backpack, no nothing, like no phone, like my hands were like totally free to dance and jump and experience. And it was so freeing to just be in nature with no phone, no Wi-Fi, no backpack, no nothing. Just me and my loved ones and my animal loved ones and nature. It was so nurturing. Yeah, especially for people like us, nature is the great nurturer that help us stabilize and harmonize our nervous system and our bodies. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Sylvia. I will tune into that later. So yeah, I feel this is what I wanted to bring to you today. Again, let me know if there are any other topics that you would like me to touch upon. I'm really happy to do so. And I'm sending you all so much love today and every day, and sending all of us blessings. And let's just take 3 deep breaths together, because why not? Ooh. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you, and sending you all so many blessings and love. And I will see you on the next one tomorrow. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, tomorrow we have an activation ceremony for our activation community membership. So if you want to join us, we are also starting tomorrow a new weekly challenge inside the activation community. So if you want to join us, send me a message so you can join the ceremony tomorrow, and you can start the week by doing the weekly challenge with us. And yes, that's all for today. Bless you, and I will see you tomorrow.